Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started this morning. And just a reminder that this is the Wake Up and Resell with Reseller Revenue Facebook group. We meet Monday through Thursdays at 7 a.m. to get our day started off right, and that's Central Time. We're a community of resellers of all different levels. We're all here to support one another and elevate each other and make positive improvements. We also share our first half of our call every morning live on YouTube, and the second half is group only. We're also adding a bunch of calls starting in September. Those will also be group only, except for a few chosen ones. So go on our Facebook group or Reseller Revenue if you'd like to join us. So this morning we're going to talk about motivation in our business. And as I started studying some of this and kind of looking up what experts say about motivation in our business, I guess I hadn't really thought about that there's different types of motivation, both in how are we motivated to get our work done, but also what motivates us to even be doing the work in the first place. So I hadn't really, I guess, given that much thought before I started looking into it. And while it's all subjective, we all have different reasons for it and all different ways we're motivated. I feel like at the core, there are things that we can all relate to with motivation. Um, and we have different people have different thoughts on it. I think some people are more driven, more motivated to get their work done when they have positive reinforcement, and then there's people that are more driven when there's negative consequences. It's kind of like the carrot and the stick type of thing. So we have I'm more motivated in the fact that, like, I just have to get it done because it's my responsibility. So I just do it. Like, you tell me that it needs done, and I know I need to get it done. And the fact that I'm going to be working all day or all night if I don't get it done because I know I'm going to complete my task anyway, that motivates me. I want to be done. I like to have all my work finished for the day. I want to completely wrap up my work day and be able to go do stuff that I want to do. So that is very motivational to me. However, if you're a person that really needs to have motivation in external ways or from other people, um, there's nothing wrong with that. But we need to figure out, how do we keep it steady? I feel like some of us are motivated on like a day-to-day basis or on a moment-to-moment basis, and then our business becomes a little inconsistent. So how do we set up our motivation so that we are consistent in our business and we're not constantly looking for somebody else to provide us that push? So I guess we kind of break it up into two different topics, is what motivates us to even have our business. And then we're going to have the topic of what motivates us to do our work, which I think is different. So like on a day-to-day basis, I want to be done. Somebody else might be on a day-to-day basis. They want to go, you want to go play volleyball, you want to go play baseball, whatever, you want to go see a game, whatever. They're just kind of a little bit different. So I think the theme or the quotes that I found the most interesting to me was, are we going to work really, really hard to find success, or are we going to work to avoid failure? And I thought that that was really interesting because we can work really hard at either one, but they're totally different. And we have to be able to divide it up that they are totally different things. So there's people that are just afraid of failure all the time. And I think I definitely used to fall into that category, that I just constantly was trying to make maneuvers in ways that I wouldn't fail. I always wanted to succeed. I always wanted to be the best. So while that sounds like good motivation to always want to be the best, always want to be on top, always want to do your very best, sometimes that's not, if you're constantly worried about failing, it will get in your way. And this call is a very good example of the fact that this group, that I just was afraid I would fail. I was afraid people wouldn't join or things, and it got in my way for a good year of doing it. And I decided, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid to fail. I'm just going to do it, give it my best, and see what the results are. And so now, since I've shifted that mindset, I'm more able to focus on the success of things than I am being worried about failing. And I think that how we focus and funnel our energy is a big, I guess, the factor in how we end up with our business. So Russell had said this the other day, that he said, well, no, I get to list. We need to look at it like I get to list my 25. And I was like, yeah, because we all know I'm so just all about positivity and that came up a lot when I was looking into this, is that we need to look at things like we get to, not that we have to. And I wonder if we all really focused on that we get to do these things. You know, we get to decide what our day looks like. We get to have our own businesses. We get to decide how much money we make in a certain manner. If that would maybe motivate us all to do a little better and keep us in a better mindset. And while I thought it was kind of funny at the time, now I see kind of there is wisdom behind that we get to do things, we don't have to do things. And even if we feel like we're obligated to do something, we don't necessarily have to do them. We have choices. And choices to me are motivating. The fact that we have choices in our day is a big motivational factor for me. I'm not being told what I have to do and when I have to do it by another boss. I have choices. I have choices in what I sell. I have choices in what platform I sell on. Those are all very motivational factors, even if it's not the traditional kind that we think of. People, we can always go into like the static of what people think of when it's, how am I going to motivate myself today? Or what do I use to get myself up and going during the day? So I think part of mine is that I always plan for things to go wrong. That doesn't sound very motivating, but it is, because I'm constantly trying to stay one step ahead, because I know at some point I'm going to fall 3 steps behind. So I want to make sure that I can plan for those off days, plan for those days to go wrong, and know that they are going to go wrong. So that keeps me going in the right direction on days that things are going right. Because we can't always control when things are going to go right or wrong, but we could plan ahead for them. And while that's not what we think of, like, it's not the traditional, hey, if I get this done, I get an ice cream cone type motivation, but it very much is part of our business plan and also part of our uh, pushing forward. Some people are really motivated by goals. And while I don't know that I've always been a goal-oriented person, our goals can look different from person to person. Maybe your goal is to be able to quit your job. Maybe your goal is to make X amount of dollars net in your bank account a month. Those are all really good things that can then push us to go that extra mile. But our goals need to be practical, and we are going to do a call just on goals. They have to be practical, and I feel like we need to have our short-term and long-term goals. Sometimes we make our goals too big, and then they aren't really obtainable, and we can't really see ourselves, visualize ourselves getting to that goal and winning, so to speak. It can be daunting and kind of push us away from it altogether because we feel like we can't ever get there. And I like goals that I know I can obtain. I know I can get there. I know I can, break through. Tracking our progress, I feel like really helps me a lot. If I know where I'm at and I know where I'm going and I've got it planned out and I can track how I'm doing, it just gives me a gauge on where I'm at and how much extra push I need. If we can embrace positive and negative peer pressure, and by negative, I mostly mean like constructive criticism. So I am motivated when people tell me, like, well, you could be a really great jewelry seller if, or I see that you're almost there. Or like those things to me are motivating because I want to say, like, I know I can get there and I just have to figure it out. Like, I don't have it figured out yet, but I'm trying. And so if we know that we can get there and we have that outside forces funneling into us to tell us how to get there or just to give us little tidbits, it makes me want to, like, you know what, I can do that. I'm listening. I'm ready. It kind of just gets me going in the right direction. So, and the positivity, it really does help. Who doesn't love to hear that, hey, you've really made a lot of progress. You've really come a long way. You're really, your 90-day totals are amazing. I mean, everybody loves to hear that. So that can really be motivating too. So I think we all just have different things and they look different, but in the end, they're all the same. They're all that same push to um to do good in our business world and our uh, just life in general. What motivates you, Meg, to keep going, to keep getting up every morning and to get this eBay thing done that you do every day?
Um, Kind of struggling with that the last few days just because of my like self-imposed like shrinkage of my store, then turned it off, then dropped all my listings off and now restarted. So part of my brain's like, no, no, it's okay. Like this is like to be expected. I only have 120 in my store, but the other part's like, you're failing. Like go look for another law job, go figure this out. Like, so I don't know. Like, yeah, struggling with that.
Because you lost the momentum. That's what
Yeah, yeah.
lost
I feel
with
I'm
your
just like, what
store.
part of me is like, oh my God, like it's never gonna work now. And then I'm like, no, it worked before. Like, just maybe I need the full 90 days or close to it or something. Or I don't know. Cause when I was shrinking my store, like I could make sales happen, but I trying to actually grow my store this time. So it's like, okay, I don't want to cheap sell everything. So I don't know. I need some, maybe I just need to like just go out and source like more clothing today just to try to find some like winners and get back into like feeling good about things or and do more auctions maybe on Sunday because then it's like the stuff I know for sure that will sell and like maybe that'll motivate me more.
Yep. And I think that, so for those of you who don't know, Meg made a cross country trip. She had to bring just her inventory in a couple bags. She sold down her whole store, did an excellent job of wrapping that up. But now that she's down to 100 and some items in her store, and you went down to none, right? You build it
I
up
got it all the way down to 50, packed it, and then when I was like,
50.
I had to go through my inventory, make sure it didn't break like in transit.
Hmm.
So as I did that, I was kind of like, you know what? Let me just like make it down to zero and like have a fresh start and see how I could do it this time. But
So eBay, you're in eBay jail for taking all your
yeah, and
listings
then I guess because I
down.
was focusing on that so much, I stopped cross listings as much. So now I'm like, okay, so now it's down to nothing on them. So I'm just like starting to rapid fire cross list too and try to get that back because they were all done
So
too. So
part of this is as easy as it is for me to say, but harder to actually practice is try not to be reactive
I'm
to, because I totally would be. So I totally understand because I'd be like, what is happening? I don't have any sales, and but just to realize like now eBay's confused. eBay doesn't know who you are anymore. They're like, wow, there's Meg, had this, you didn't have a huge store, but it was bigger. And now there's nothing. So is she quitting? Is she not putting in the effort anymore? eBay doesn't know what happened. eBay doesn't know that you came from Hawaii and had to pack your stuff. So I would say in 2 weeks, you'll probably be back, but you also have to think, I've always said there's that magic spot at 1,000 listings. There's other little checkpoints along the way. And so I think once you get over 500, that will really help a little bit with the momentum. But for right now, you're going to get hobby seller traffic because you have hobby seller
yeah, like I had 10
numbers.
sales this weekend and then I haven't made any in 2 days. But again, I'm like the rational part of me knows it's like, well, because you only have 120 in your store and yeah.
It
Because the
doesn't make you
rational part
feel
of me
any
is like
better.
just take some of them down, combine them, lot them up, that'll sell quicker. But I'm like, oh, like I should just grow it. I don't know. Like I
It's
have
hard.
money saved luckily, so I can survive a couple months like with this like up and down, but
And that's the key too, that you had a little cushion because you knew this was going to be hard for a while. So at least you've done that, because if you had rent due in 2 weeks and you didn't have any cushion, that would
everything
be,
be lotted up. Everything be
yeah,
auctioned lotted up.
Meg'd be like, it's all on marketplace. Come give me some cash. So I get it. And I think your journey is gonna be very interesting. And I think it's gonna pop right back, but it's probably frustrating right now. So I think so maybe you're motivated right now by, hey, I want to be motivated by having my store back and getting
Yeah,
regular sales. And so that's probably pretty motivating that if you put up extra listings a day.
yeah. And I realized like, okay, if I thought to myself, have I really been doing everything I can be? Like, no, like I can be more efficient to have more time to research. I like can like the things I listed, I was like, did I actually look up if that's like the best sell through or should I combine the two, let's say charm bracelets into one listing? Like I didn't even look the sell through one versus two. I'm like, okay, there's more I could be doing. Like I shouldn't freak out till I've done everything.
Yep. And unfortunately, no matter, you can't outwork the fact that you took your whole store down. Um, I mean, you can outwork as in building it back up, but it's
And go
just
broke.
you're gonna go through this little bump in the road and hopefully come out better on the other side. But just keep, how many are you putting up every day for this
Trying to do
to get it
20.
back?
So I'm on like day 8 now.
So you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there, and eBay's gonna figure out, okay, she's back. She's a serious seller again. She's putting up consistent living listings every day. And I don't know about you guys, but eBay's been really glitchy the last couple days. So if we figure eBay's glitchy when we're listing, eBay's gonna be a little glitchy your customers probably too sometimes. So just stick it out. You'll be okay. But so your motivation probably has changed from maybe today how you feel about it versus 2 months ago.
Yeah. 2 months ago was a different kind of like weird lack of motivation too, because I knew I was shrinking my store. So now I was all excited to start regrowing it, and then now the seeing how difficult it's gonna be is like, okay. So I guess
The
my motivation would be
reality.
like, I'm gonna overcome this, like the positive side. I'm like the angel on the shoulder kind of thing. Just fight the devil when it's like, no, you suck, go get a job.
And I think you'll be fine too, but it is hard. It's hard during that time. And so we always talk about our whys. What's your why? Do you know what your why is?
Um, to be more than comfortable, like money wise, and I like that the with the flexibility and like that I moved home to like help take care, well, spend time with and then eventually kind of take care of my parents and everything. So like the job will give me flexibility to do that more easily. So I just need to get to that
And
point of being comfortable so then it's not like me having to try to sacrifice time with them to do this.
and maybe set yourself some more immediate goals, like because you are building your store that like, okay, I need to hopefully in a month I can get to this point or I can get to that point in a month. And then make some 8-week goals or 6-week goals or just make some smaller ones so that you can feel like you win and then you can keep moving forward and building on that momentum because I feel like if I can win sometimes, it kind of, feels
Yeah,
good and then you can keep going.
that's true.
And Russell, I think you're motivated and focused towards the fact that you guys want to move at some point, right?
Yes, my wife retires in about 12 to 14 months, and we're planning on relocating.
So that'll be a different change in your um business will change at that time too, or will you just stay the course and keep doing what you're doing?
I'm trying to change so that it'll stay the course later. And by that meaning, like right now, I've got my thrift route and all that stuff figured out. But if I relocate, you got to start from scratch with a whole new figuring all that out again. So I'm trying to figure out how to find those items and build those relationships so that the items can come to me versus me going to them. And at that point, I can just ship them wherever I want.
Right. And that's, some people lock themselves into sourcing that's really location based, which is fine because if we stay in the location, it's good. But if we have it coming to us, it does provide us a little more flexibility with that. And what motivates you on a day-to-day basis, Russell?
Just uh, a lot of it is the people in this group, to stay on top of things. It's a good feeling to know that there's other people that are grinding it out just like I am. That's part of it. The other part is just my work ethic. I've just been doing this for so long. Um, Not eBay specifically, but this style of work that it just comes natural to me. And you know, I've always been that let's get it done and then have fun. And the faster I can get things done, the more fun I can have.
I think that's where I'm at. I'm always like that. And it's hard for me. I've been trying to find different ways that I can help other people become more motivated or to feel good about their day and to look forward to their day because I'm so much of a just get it done and then you can move on to do better things. But I realize it's not that easy. But I do think sometimes we just get it ingrained in us that we're like we have non-negotiables during the day and they have to get done before we have fun. um I agree with the motivation with the group thing. I don't want to let the group down. I don't want to let my peers down. I don't want I really like to stay on top of things so that I am not behind and because I want to feel like I can help other people. So I agree and it's really helpful having people that all kind of we're all in the same deep waters together and even though we're all at different levels, being able to all contribute to the same thing. And that's motivational to see people, there's some new people that are just killing it out there. And that's motivational to me because I'm like, well, they're brand new and they're killing it. I want to do it too. And I love surrounding myself with people that are a lot better than me too, because it makes me want to do better. And so I think we can all find different avenues of that. How about you, Stacia?
I'm kind of like you guys. I just think I've always worked hard. I've been working since I was 14. So I think that is a big part of it. I love the flexibility. And I can relate to Meg. I took my listings down from 18 to 15 to 12, and just seeing that 90-day drop, and I'm like, I feel like such a failure. And it's like, no, this was a planned thing. Well, I mean, the plan is new, but like, you can't get upset when it was what you planned to do. So yeah,
But doesn't mean it feels good, you know?
no,
So,
no.
yeah. And we can't always have it. So bottom line, I think most of us are motivated by money. It's the fact, like most of us aren't doing this just because we're having a great time. Even though I think some of us have fun at work with this, it's still a means for financial gain. And so it's okay to be motivated by money. I think some people feel like that's a dirty word type thing. It's not. Um, takes money to make the world go round. So it's okay to be motivated by money. And some of us are like want to be at different levels with finances, and each level is just as good as the next, if that's what you want. So like Meg wants to be more than comfortable. I think that's where a lot of us want to be. Like I want to not have to worry about money. I don't need to be filthy rich. I just would like the pressure off as much with money. So I think that's where a lot of us are. Jason, are you available to talk? I saw him pop up. He might not be there either. How about you, Becky? Are you around? She might be at the gym. These people that go to the gym every morning, and she was like taking the world on yesterday.
Yeah, I am at the gym.
Well, see, there you are.
I'll turn my camera on for a second. My kids motivate me. Being responsible for children is motivating. So, yeah.
Yep.
Short end of it, I need, if money is motivating because I need the money to help the kids have the best life I want them to have. So that's the short end.
Absolutely. All right. Anybody else want to chime in on either what motivates them to get their work done every day, or what motivates them to do this job, or different skills they've used to get up and going on this stuff? I'm going to Meg.
Yeah, I was just gonna add in that I think this is honestly like the hardest maybe job that I've ever done. So I think that is motivating because there have been that many, not that many challenge, not their own challenges, but yeah, it's definitely this is more challenging to figure out, more moving pieces, and
I think it's also the fact that, if we have a corporate job and we just want to take a week off, and especially if we have paid time off, we can check out completely and not even worry about it. eBay doesn't feel that way about us. They
True.
don't really care that we want to have a vacation, or that we're sick, or that we have a sick parent or sick child. There's no doubt about it in my mind that we get punished when we quit being consistent with eBay. eBay is a fickle partner. If you quit giving to it, it pretty much it'll take away pretty quickly. And so that's why I can tell Meg for certainty that, that's what's happening to her right now. I mean, 100% believe that, because if I don't list my normal for one day, my sales will be all wonky in 3 days. And I still listed, I was still consistent the fact that I listed, but if I don't list my 25, my traffic drops off. And so it knows. And that is harder than most jobs I have. I used to be able to clock out, and even salaried positions I have, nobody notices when I'm not there type
yeah,
of thing.
I got away with murder with every job I had. Now that I think about it, like so,
eBay notices
it's
when
like
we don't show
annoying,
up.
but
And I'll wrap up the YouTube portion with saying eBay absolutely knows when we don't show up. And so when we don't show up for eBay, we're not showing up for ourselves either, because we're going to feel those repercussions, and then we're going to have to deal with them later. And so it's definitely a domino effect. with eBay, and it's a domino effect that goes clear back to like our sourcing. We have a bad sourcing week, we can't find good things, we don't have good things to put up. And I don't know about you guys, but when don't have really great things to put up, I am not motivated to list. I love listing really great items that are fun to list, that are gonna make good profits. I am not motivated to be listing like Christmas tree lots. That does not motivate me. They sell good, but when you were not motivated to put up what we list, and that goes clear back to what I said the other day about having that, we need to have that passion. You don't have to, but it really helps when we're only picking up things that we're excited to put in our store and that we have pride in our store. Because if I am excited to get it up and show everybody and I know it's good, that's very motivational to me. So when we go to the private group, I'm going to read I don't know what you call it, poem, proverb, or whatever you call it, that kind of relates to how I feel about this. And I found it kind of interesting on how we view things a little bit. So I'm going to end the YouTube portion and make sure you visit the Reseller Revenue Facebook group. You can also check our Patreon so you can join our live calls in the morning. We can also answer questions during the morning if anybody has any.